Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me? Kingsley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
All right, we're just going to wait 10 minutes for some more people to join up before we officially start. Thank you.
All right.
So, before then, I think we can all just introduce ourselves since we are few. So, I'll start. My name is Onitibi Vera, and I will reintroduce myself when the program officially kicks off. So, Joshua, can you please introduce yourself? Joshua. All right, I don't think Joshua is with his phone right now. So, Felix. Felix, do you want to introduce yourself? Seems like everyone is far away from their phones as it is. So, who wants to go first then? So, our speaker for today has already joined us, so we might not have to wait so much for the other participants to join. We'll be giving them about 3 minutes. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Onyetibi Vera Ogochi, and I will be your host for the third quarterly summit of the Youth Health Action Network. Co-hosting with me is Fatal Samira Vanessa, and the topic for today is a financial health summit. We were trying to give some other participants time to join up, so we will give them 2 more minutes before we officially kick off the program. All right, time's up for those who were given time to join. Once again, welcome to the Youth Health Action Network third quarterly summit. And today we have myself, Onyetibi Vera Ugochi, and my co-host Vanessa Fatal Samira. Vanessa, please say hello. Vanessa, I think you need to turn on your microphone so you say hello to everyone.
Yeah. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. My name is Vanessa, and I'm your co-host today's meeting.
All right, thank you, Vanessa. So today we're going through the Financial Health Summit, like the theme of the program. And for today, we'll be having a very interesting topic from the Financial Fitness Clinic. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can our speaker properly.
I don't know my system.
So today we'll be having with us Mr.
Hello.
Paul. Mr. Frank Samuel is the founder of the Financial Fitness Clinic. His names are Frank Samuel Chigozrim. He's 23, a young political analyst, award winning public speaker, and writer. He's a personal financial coach, a serial investor, and an advocate for youth involvement in politics and governance. So he's the youngest ever students union government president ever in Nigeria, as he assumed office at the age of 19 as the student union government president of Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. So he is the founder of Financial Fitness Clinic, a financial education startup geared towards increasing financial inclusion among young people
Oh, Vera, good evening. I don't know if you're still there. Hear your voice, please. Try to do something about it. Okay.
Lisa,
Oh,
Okay, she just
hello.
joined now.
just
Thank
had
you, sir.
some technical issues and
Yeah.
we're back.
Yeah.
I think we have Mr. Frank Samuel right here.
Hello, Vera. Sorry. Please, if you're sharing your screen with a phone, try to put it in landscape.
All right, perfect. I
Yeah,
will do that.
because we're also streaming it on YouTube.
All right, perfect.
Hello, everyone. Please, there have
Good
been
evening.
some technical issues with Vera's phone, so I think I'll take it from here. I'll share the screen and share the projection to everyone. Um, as we know, we are coming for the summit, and Vera was trying to introduce the speaker for the summit before there was an issue with her phone. She's having technical issues with her phone. So, um,
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear
y-
me? Please confirm you can hear me. This is
yes,
Frank speaking.
yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I think we can jump right into it. Thank you so much, Johan Africa, for the invite. Thank you, to my very good Uzubechi. Thank you, Uzubechi Ogamba. Thank you, Doctor, for for the medical space in Nigeria, and especially for young people. Good evening to our host, Vera. Good evening, Vanessa. Thank you so much for the introduction. I feel very honored and glad to be here. So I guess we can kick off, right?
Yes, we can.
All right. So my name is Frank Summer. For those that are going to meet me for the very first time, and is my I find it humbling to be here to speak to us on financial literacy, right? And my session is supposed to deal with some very salient issues. One of which is actually having better financial literacy for everyone. Um, Understanding the idea of money, and then of course how you put yourself to make money. One other thing that I would equally be looking out to do is to ensure that um, we deal with wrong money ideologies amongst young people that have limited their personal finance growth. And how many minutes do I have, Vanessa? How many minutes do I have? Please confirm that. Thank you.
You have an hour.
I have
You have
an
an
hour.
hour to do your
Okay.
presentation.
Okay. So I have an hour. All right. So let's go right into it. Okay. So, what is money? What is money? I would want, and this is going to be very conversational, right? So that we can learn. Um, so in the chat box, right? I would love conversations to be going on, in the chat box, right? What is money? Anybody here? Just type in the chat box. What is money to you? When you hear money, what does it mean? Right? When you hear money, what does it mean? What does it mean to you? Money. When you hear money, what does it mean? What are we referring to when we talk about money? Anybody, just type. Someone says a means of transaction. Great. Great. Anybody else? Someone says money is a legal term that used to acquire goods or services. Interesting. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Bolaniwa, for the responses. Someone says it's a medium of exchange. Okay. It is worth. Interesting. Okay. Sustainability. Someone says it's store and fast value. Okay, this person is going pretty economical, but I wouldn't want to bug anybody with economic and financial jargon this evening. Someone says the means of financial exchange and wealth creation. Someone says the root of all evil. Okay, that so let's start with that last response. Let's start with that last response. So money is not the root of all evil, right? Money is not the root of all evil. It is the love of money that is the root of all evil. Money isn't the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. I think that's First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Yeah. So it is the love of money, not money, right? Money is what makes the world go round. Money answereth all things. Money is when they say money answereth all things, it shows you the power it has, right? But money is a great servant, but a terrible master. It's a great servant, but it's a terrible master. And you must be aware of that. You must know that. It's a great servant. It can serve you excellently well, but it's a terrible master. Okay? So I like the definitions we've given to money, but we're going to also be touching some of these definitions of things and things we thought or with things we think money is, just to show us how correct or how very relative our answers can be. So someone says it's a means of exchange. That's why money started off from what we know as trade by barter. So you have beans, I have rice. I need beans, you need rice, we exchange. I have yam, you have vegetable oil. I need vegetable oil, you need yam, we exchange. Right? So it was used as a means for exchange of value. It was seen as a means for exchange of value. So if I have value right now and you need that value from me, what do you do to get that value from me? You have to exchange something. It might be connections. It might be your money. It might be maybe listen. But that thing you're exchanging can be monetized. It can be monetized. It is something you can use to exchange for it will not be an instrument for exchange of value. That's what money is. An instrument for exchange of value. I know I'm going to get value from, I have to exchange money to exchange something for it. Whatever I exchange can be monetized. That's why if you're a doctor, people are exchanging their money for solutions, for health solutions. You have the solutions, you have the knowledge, you have the expertise, you have the information. For the fact that you can give it out and people can pay you for it means it can be monetized. So money is an instrument for exchange of value. Currency, it's in its physical form. Right now, I'm not even having any currency because they are changing our naira notes. So we are using our phones to now do transfers. So permit me, I cannot show you a physical currency, right? But it's as far as you can use it as a means of exchange for value, that as far as you can, that instrument can be monetized and you call it money. It might not be exactly currency money, but it can be called money. So we started off trade by barter, and then Nigeria started doing the whole cowrie system. Then we started using pounds, I think, at the time, and then naira, we phased out the pounds, and all that. So there are a lot of currencies in the world, right? So I want us to first understand what money is, all right, before we now start going into issues of financial literacy, money management, and the likes, right? So when we talk about money, or when we talk about personal finance, there is something that I always like to reiterate at every session I get to speak at, especially when I'm speaking to young people like myself, is that personal finance is first personal. Personal finance is first personal. It relates to you as an individual first, before any other thing. So we talk about personal finance. It is first you. Your money circumstance is different from the person sitting beside you. It's different from the person living with you. It's different from the person you schooled with. It's different from the patient. It's different from every other person around you. Your money circumstances are different. But as much as they are different, there are patterns to solutions can be provided. There are patterns to which you can solve whatever issues you're facing. There are patterns to which you can manage your money better. There are patterns to which you can multiply money better. There are patterns to which you can exchange the value you have for money. There are patterns to which you can increase your net worth. Right? So we're going to be taking a look at these patterns today, so that and my session is not going to, this is a tema. My session is non-judgmental. I have absolutely nobody in mind. I am nothing I will say here is to spite anybody, to judge anybody. If in the case of using a case scenario, you feel like relating it to you, I don't know you from it. So I just wanted to know that. All right. So are we good to go? All right. Thank you. All right. So what are we referring to? We're talking about literacy to knowledge. When you are literate in a particular endeavor or a particular field, it means you have a certain level of knowledge that stands you out, right? A certain level of standard knowledge. Standard. That's what least standard is. Standard. That's why in Nigeria they'll say that if someone who has finished standard 6 is literate, right? They don't use secondary school or even university. I think standard 6 is like secondary school. So as far as you finish that standard, they feel you have a certain level of, you should be able to read and write. So it makes you literate. So financial literacy refers to having the basic financial information to allow you thrive, to enable you thrive. Financial literacy refers to having the requisite financial knowledge that can power you to financial independence, that can power you to sustainable wealth. That's what financial literacy is all about. That's what I and my brand constantly do every single day. We seek to do that every single day. Right? Seeing how we can ensure that young people in Africa move from where they are to where they want to be, being able to build sustainable wealth with the relevant and requisite information they need about money. I like to break it down in like there's like a threefold process to it. So there's the making, there's the managing, and there's the multiplying. There's the making, there's the managing, and there's the multiplying, the 3 M's. Right? And making has been we have so emphasized on making so much that there are people, they are seeing money, but their life is not seeing any transformation. They are seeing money, but their families are not experiencing growth. They are seeing money. Africa has seen a lot of resources. We've seen ways to make this money, but we are still the poverty continent of the whole world. So, of course, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, and if Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, such a gives you an insight that Africa might just be the poverty continent of the world, or the most impoverished continent in the world. A lot of emphasis has been placed on the making, and less emphasis, very, very minute emphasis on managing and multiplying. And as young people, I think it's important that we start having insight into all of this, because there's wealth transfer going on in our world today. A lot of young people are seeing money that their parents have not seen for all the 25, 30 years they worked maybe in civil service or any other field of endeavor. And they are seeing it in like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Right? There is new professions springing up. There is new skill sets springing up that people have so much value to offer to the world today that they are being paid for in multiples of what their parents or older generations were earning. So with this level of growth our world is experiencing, with this level of wealth transfer that is experiencing, it's quite important that we understand how to manage and multiply what we make. Now, as regards managing, on the conversation of managing money, there's something that a lot of young people don't like to hear, or might have heard it, and it's really difficult for us to really work with it. Is the idea of budgeting and expense tracking. It's the idea of budgeting and expense tracking. This forms the core of money management. It forms the heart and the spine of money management. Being able to give your money a destination and being able to follow your money. So I just want to ask, right? How many of us here you've ever set a budget and for some reason it didn't just work for you? You've tried over and over again, and somehow you are experiencing a budget deficit. You are spending more than what you budgeted. You just feel that you are not doing great with the budget you might have put together. There are certain persons here, just indicate. Nice. I'm seeing the responses. I'm seeing the raised hands. Good. All right. So it means that it's a general issue. And the problem is not that money does not like to stay in your hand, or money just likes disobeying you. The problem is that you have treated it from the wrong perspective. A lot of times because we've treated it from the wrong perspective. A lot of us have seen money as a very terrible master. We've seen budgeting as a very terrible, a very something that, why am I even doing this to you? A lot of us, that's what we think, that the idea of budgeting was set up to punish us. If you're one of those that think that way, let me see. If you think that budgeting was really set up to punish you, just type in the chat box. If you think it was that the idea of budgeting was designed to punish you, was designed to not allow you enjoy soft life, type in the chat box. Let's see. But now, you see that budgeting was not designed to deprive you from living a soft life. Budgeting was not designed to stop you from living your best life. It was designed, this is the reason, it was designed so that your money is a tool. I will say it again, it's just an instrument, it's a tool. I like the scenario of a car. I'm in a car right now, right? A very wonderful car. You can take a look. I'm in a car, a very wonderful car. But get this, if I start this car and just move the gear to anywhere and step my foot on the throttle or the accelerate step and just put my leg there and I don't hold the steering, I just allow the car to be moving, there is only one end result. Who knows what will happen? Just type in the chat box. There's only one end result. Only one thing will happen. There's only one end result. Someone said crash. Someone said accident. Someone said death. Accident. Nice. Only one thing will happen. You will die. And that's what a lot of us are doing with our money. We are thinking that, budgeting is not going to allow you to enjoy your life and live a soft life. But you are killing yourself. You are dying because your money does not have direction. You're killing yourself. Because the truth is, when it becomes a habit to live life without budgeting, especially your money, to live life just that way, you build up the habit, and a lot of us developed this. It became difficult. It became difficult for a lot of persons to budget. It's really difficult for a lot of young people to budget because of they never saw their parents do it. They saw their parents make money, and the next thing, everybody comes and asks, and they just give, and before you know, they tell you the money has finished. And they start asking you, do I pluck money from trees? Right? They make money and they just can't start doling it out. They don't sit down and say, okay, this particular portion is for this. This one is for this. This one is for this. Even our mothers that try very hard to write a list when they want to go to the market. For those of us that followed our mothers to the market, when you eventually go to your market, at this period now that Udara has come out, Udara was not on the list. Before you know, Udara is inside the bag that you are going home with. These are habits we learned while growing up, and they have affected how we see money. So we see money with the idea or with the perception of any money where I get, I deflex. And we don't know that what we are doing is simply moving our money vehicle into any gear and putting our foot on the accelerate step and just stepping away. That's what a lot of us are doing. And we need to avoid this. That's why this session we are having is critical, very important, because we need to avoid. All right. So budgeting. So someone will be asking, so what model do I advise? How do I what do I what model, what budgeting model do I advise? Right? I don't have a budgeting model I will advise anybody to strictly stick to, but financial advisors will say that you must save at least 20% of whatever you earn. 20%. 20%. That's what they advise. 20%. And a lot of times they don't even tell you that they learned it from Joseph. Joseph in the scripture, Genesis 39, coming from chapter 39 to chapter 41, where he encountered Pharaoh, and Pharaoh told Pharaoh his dream, and he gave Pharaoh interpretation. And after interpreting the dream, he told Pharaoh that this is my advice. Find a wise man. We are going to build barns. And whatever we make in our years of plenty, we keep a fifth of it. Whatever we earn in our years of plenty, we keep a fifth of it. We keep 1/5 of it. And 1/5 is 20%. 1/5 is 20%. All right. So for the 7 years that they were in plenty, they were saving 20%. 20%. Joseph said, even if the barns get filled up, we build more. And we keep storing. That singular act of keeping 20% consistently turned Egypt from just being an ordinary nation to becoming the United Nations of their time. What are you doing with the 20% of what you earn? I'm not saying it's not good to spend money on things you love, things you like. I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is, what exactly are you doing about where you aspire to be? I know a lot of us here are medical doctors, are in the medical line, and we know the sacrifice we put in to ensure that we get the degree. But we feel, oh, money, as I grow older, I will make more money and I will save more and I'll be able to invest. Please kill that mindset, kill that ideology. All right, kill it. So it's important that you put a model around what your budgeting is. If you want to be spending 60% on your needs, 20% on your wants, and then you save 20%, please do that. Things that I would advise that you keep track of in your budget: your needs, what your needs are, things like food, clothing, shelter, data. Of course, data is a need now. So these things are like things you need to survive, right? Transportation. Then you talk about your wants. What are those things that they are not needs, but you really want them, right? For some persons, it might be a new device. For some persons, they may want to pay for a new course. For some persons, they want to buy a new book. For some persons, those are wants, right? They are there to ensure that you are living a better life. You are just living a normal, standard, basic life. The next thing that I want you to also take cognizance of is for those that are Mother Teresa's, people who are in the health, sometimes I think they have a lot of compassion. So do not hurt yourself in the process. I've seen a lot of young people who, if they add up all the urgent 2Ks and 5Ks that they gave out last year, they would have bought a plot of land and their net worth would have increased. So what they now do is they carry other people's emergencies on their head as if it's their own emergencies. Please, you are not a microfinance bank. You are not a microfinance bank. Anybody that needs help should go to Lapo and loan money. At the time, what I started doing was, when I noticed that I was falling victim of this, what I started doing was I was setting aside a particular allocation every month. Figure. I'm not like percentage of what I earn. It's a particular figure, whether it's 10,000, 50,000. I set it out. I said, this is what I plan to give out urgent 2K or urgent 5K, anything urgent, anybody call urgent anything. Once you come, And I said, okay, this is what I can give. This is once that amount finishes, anybody else that comes, can we join our faith together and pray about that matter? And I'm being very honest. That's what I would do. So I started doing that, and it was giving me peace of mind, because people want to. Yes, you are in a healthy. Yes, they expect you to feel a lot of compassion. But my brother, my sister, you people problem. You know they finish. Let me use PG. Problem. You know they finish. Right. So you need to set up a system where you do not put yourself in a trap. Right, where you do not put yourself in it, because it's a poverty trap. Black tax is a put money on them. Right, it gives you an idea of the expenses you're making on a regular, that you don't know that they are affecting your money. That you don't understand how money just goes, and you're like, where did this money go to? But you're the one that spends the money. So I think it's really important that we're able to track our expenses. Right. So the next conversation that I want to have with us is, what are those money habits that we need to deal with? What are those money mindsets we need to deal with? Right? One of them, the first on the list, is that money is evil. That money is evil. Money is just neutral. Money is a neutral agent. It's a neutral agent. It's how you handle it that describes you, or that describes the money. Money is neutral. It's neutral. It does not belong to any religion, does not belong to any belief, does not belong to any value system. It is completely neutral. So you must get this, right? So it is how you relate to it that gives it a definition. It's how you relate to the money that gives it a definition, right? So it's really important that we get that. So you don't see it as there are a lot of persons that have the mindset of, when I make too much money, I'm eventually going to become evil. I'm eventually going to become what's the word? Someone that people would not like, or someone that people would not want to relate with, because it will corrupt me. That's the word. I think that's the word. Right? So people see it as a corrupting agent. All right. So don't see it as a corrupting. It's simply neutral. Money is simply neutral, right? And we must get that. That's the first thing. Number two is that um there are certain money mindsets that can affect your growth. There are certain mindsets that once you hold close to you, they can affect your growth, and you must be able to disengage from them. Right, things like you are not ripe enough for it, things like, oh, I cannot make certain amount. There are a lot of us that, if they tell you now that you can make up to 10 million in the next 1 month, it's unbelievable, right? And it's these self-limiting beliefs that have held a lot of us from even exploring the certain skill sets we have, from exploring the certain value sets that we have, right? And I think that we need to be able to break those limiting beliefs so that we can be able to advance to the next level of in our finances. Right, so guys, just give me a couple of minutes, and I would be back. All right, so just a couple of minutes, just like 2-3 minutes, and I'll be back. Thank you. All right, guys, who missed me? Okay, so I was speaking at the session, so they just called me for like a brief photo shoot. All right, so let's go on. Right? So there are certain self-limiting beliefs we have about money that is affecting our growth. And I'm going to give an instance. I'm going to use a personal instance. 2021, that was October 2021. I was invited for a particular conference. It was a Realtor conference. Realtors are real estate agents, and I went there, and it was one of my big mentors that just invited me. He was speaking at the event, and I was in Port Harcourt at the time, so he said I should attend. So I went there, and during the conference, they gave out awards, gifts to best-selling realtors. You know, they were giving out fridge, giving out AC, giving out television, giving out washing machine. And these gifts were separate from the money they were making. In my head, Frank, just gather this knowledge and just go, because you cannot sell land now. How much you want to make? Do you know what it takes for this? I was limiting myself. Guess what? 3 days after that conference, I picked up courage and I went to the company, the real estate company, and I said, give me form. I want to become a realtor. They gave me form. I filled the form. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? In 10 weeks of selling properties, 10 weeks, from October, I think it was October like 18th, 19th, till December 10th, first few weeks of December, within 10 weeks of selling property, real land, I had made nothing less than 1.8 million. Now, ask yourself, what's that self-limiting belief that has held me back from attaining the kind of financial goal I want to attain? What's that self-limiting belief? What's that book you're meant to write? What's that experience you're meant to record? What's that podcast you're meant to start? What's that documentary you're meant to start? What's that experience you need to share with people? What's that skill you need to learn? What's that business you need to start that you have held back from going into it because you think, oh, I cannot make money from it. Oh, I cannot make up the kind of money I'm making in it. It is human being that is making it. Money is neutral. It is neutral. Or you say, oh, how will I start doing affiliate marketing? Oh, how will I start selling hair? Oh, how will I start selling shoes? Oh, how will I start selling land? Oh, how will I start writing book? Oh, it's too stressful. Oh, because you feel that you will fail at it. If you're a doctor here already, did you allow the mindset of failing as a doctor hinder you? No. But you've got to that level. So I think it's really, really important that we deal with some of these self-limiting beliefs, because that's held us back. Right? So since when I started selling properties to now, I know I have made in the excess of like 5 million in commissions. That's aside is different. And now I started winning gifts. You know, I won a fridge at a certain time. I won an electric cooker at a certain time. I won a microwave oven at a certain time. I would have not achieved any of this if I kept my, I cannot, where would I want to start from selling property? I did not know how to, I started. Right? So I think one of the money habits we need to deal with, especially as young people, is self-limiting beliefs. Oh, you're like, I cannot start. This Johan Africa that we have today. And so at the time, it was the founders or the conveners or the community managers of this community thought of it like, I'm going to start this thing. Where do we start from? Oh, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? But it has started, and who knows what is going to happen through it in the next 2, 3, 4 years? Who knows the kind of collaborations that would happen between this organization and even the United Nations? Who knows the kind of impact this campaign or this community would make? But it would not happen if we allow self-limiting beliefs that are in our head. They are only in our head. They are not in real life. Self-limiting beliefs are only in our head. They never occur real life. Because once you take that step to move from where you are to where you want to get to, something happens. Something happens. Something definitely happens. You do things you've never done before. You experience things you've never experienced before. And your life starts moving and inch closer to where you want to be. Where would you prefer? To be where you are, or to be an inch closer to where you want to be? I leave you to answer that question. Then let's talk about money habits you must inculcate, right? We've talked about money habits to deal with, right? So what are the kind of money habits you need to inculcate moving forward? Because I want you to leave this webinar, right? I want you to leave this webinar with a sense of fulfillment, with a sense of drive that yes, I deserve what I make. That's the first mindset I want you to have. Have you encountered anybody? I just want to draw a scenario. Have you encountered anybody that maybe offers a particular service for a particular amount? Let's say his rate card is like 50,000, and someone comes and say, "Oh, I have 70,000 to offer you for this and all that," and the person says, "Oh, what I just charged is 50,000," and the person just collects the 50,000 and leaves the 20,000. Have you ever seen someone like that? Because I have. I don't know if you have. I've seen someone like that before. Just if you've seen someone like that, just type in the chat box that yes, you are. If you see someone like that, I want to see our responses in the chat box. If you ever see someone that they feel that they don't deserve more than what they feel, that there's a limit to what they deserve. If you see someone like that, just type in the chat box. Oh yes, I have. Now, one money habit I want to inculcate going forward is that you deserve it. If the 100,000 people are available, they are able to pay you. If what you're offering is like 70,000, collect it. You deserve it. I'm not saying you should steal and tell people lies. Oh, I'm not saying you should falsify figures and all that. But if someone is offering you more than what your service is, you deserve that money. Because for the person to offer it, it means that the person has seen value in what you're. Like I said at the start, money is just an instrument for exchange of value. It's just an instrument for exchange of value. So the person feels that your value is worth $1 million and he pays you $1 million, collect the 1 million. At the time, my 1 hour coaching consultation was about 60,000, right? But at the same time, I had a session with a particular woman, and at the end of the session, the woman paid me 240,000 for 2 hours. I immediately moved what my speaking consultation rate was to 120K per hour. Hello, I deserve it. She paid me for the value I have. And guess what? Her business that she was doing, right, moved up from her earning 3 to 5 million naira profit every month to earning between 7 to 10 million naira every month within 3 months. This happened within 3 months. So she paid for the value she got. So I want you to have that mindset of I deserve it. I deserve wealth. I deserve riches. That should be a mindset you should have. And that positive habit I want to inculcate going forward is appreciating the wealth you see in others. Appreciate the wealth you see in others. There are certain doctors you see, they've made a lot of money, they are living good, you enjoy the lifestyle that they are living. Appreciate it. Say, oh, I love this. This is so beautiful. Don't go back and say, who knows the bag of money he picked on the floor? Oh, do you know the ritual he went to go and do? Oh, do you know the evil practice? No, appreciate the wealth you have seen. A lot of a number of us while growing up, we were always fed with the idea of anybody who is making much money is a cultist. Say, nah. What's that phrase that our older generation used to tell us? That is what's this? They are evil Oboni. And the person an Oboni man. So a lot of us grew up seeing people who are really wealthy as cultists, as evil people. We never grew up appreciating the fact that. So when I knew that this was a mindset thing that I need to deal with if I'm going to break into wealth, when I now see people I admire, seeing them with real, your hands will only attract what your mind has possessed. Attract what your mind has possessed. What is it that your mind has possessed? Has it possessed blessings or has it possessed curses? Has it possessed has it possessed seeing other people's prosperity as evil? You will never break into it because when the money is coming, you just want to quickly defense it because you see it as evil. That's what it does. That's what it does to you. That's what it does to you. All right. So I hope we are following, guys. I hope we are gaining value from this session. I want to see our responses. I hope we're getting value from this session. If any of my co-hosts is still here, I just want to get feedback. How's it going? Okay. I like the responses. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at what I hope I will have a lot of time to touch everything I've written down, right? So when I talk about financial literacy, what's the next step? Once you're done with budgeting, tracking expenses, money habits, of course there have to be actions you have to take, right? Yeah. Acquiring all the knowledge and taking no action is like someone who goes to a medical school or studies medicine for 7-8 years and never gets to operate or never gets to carry out any medical practice. Nobody would call you to treat them. So for those of us that are mothers, are pharmacists or nurses, if they went through all the nursing school, acquired all the knowledge, and they never treated any patients, all through the years you knew them as nurses, and one day you are now sick, if they want to give you medicine, you will reject it because you don't know whether that medicine has the capacity to cure you because they've not practiced it, right? So what are the actions? What are the steps you need to take? So number one, you need to have a habit of saving before you spend. Of saving before you spend. That's a it's so important, right? It's so important because money, like I said, money is a great servant but a terrible master. Money likes to master us and take advantage of our emotions. Money likes to take advantage of our emotions and make us do certain things because we are emotional towards those actions. A lot of us are emotional towards their finances, right? But the moment you move from being emotional to becoming logical, it's easier for you to exert a certain level of discipline in your financial life. Saving is not an emotional step, it's a logical step. On the surface level, it makes sense. But at the foundation of wealth, it is critical. When we talk about wealth building, it is critical. On the foundation level, might not make sense. Like, why will I save? I have a lot of expenses to take care of. Oh, my income is not even enough to take care of all my expenses. And it might not make any sense. That's your emotion speaking. That's your emotion speaking. The moment you move from being emotional to becoming logical, then you will see that saving is a foundational block. It's a foundational block. One of my mentors, one of my financial mentors, Sam, and you call it a savings. It is not a savings. It's not a savings account. You know, it's not a savings account. Have an account that you can keep money there and you are not touching it for a period of, this is what they call a savings account. All of us have is deposits. not deposit money and you move the money transfer. Technology has made it so easy that with your fingerprint, with one swipe, with just four digits, for some 6 digits, money has moved. Right. So I think it's really important that we practice saving before you spend. Right. Start it. I'm not saying yes, financial advisors advise 20%, but I'm not saying you should start from 20. I'm not Personal finance is first personal. I always say that. If it's 5%, we'll start from the 5. And services will not affect me to save as much as I was saving before. Still keep piling that small amount. Whether it's 5%, whether it's 10%, keep piling. Keep piling it. Right. The next thing I want to talk about is what I call the net worth growth technique. The net worth growth technique, right? I want to talk about your net worth. We are basically saying what remove all the things you are own. Remove all the things you are owing people from the things you own. For a lot of persons, what the only things they own is for a lot of young people, what they own is just their mobile phones. But it's a great asset, right? But then the fact that they own only their mobile phones, they owe a lot of things. They are owing 5K, 10K, 20K everywhere. Just say, don't worry, when I have money, I will pay you back. Right, center. These are liabilities you need to deal with, right? Debt. See, was the initial idea of debt was to have a chain around the person's neck. So when you're in debt, they put you in chains about your neck and they drag you to work on fields. That's the initial idea of debt. So it is a system created to keep you enslaved. Debt is a system created to, except you are borrowing a loan or taking debt for business to trade. That's a finance hack that the wealthy use and it works for them. But all of us, like one of the presidential aspirants in Nigeria would say, Nigeria has been borrowing money to consume. We are not borrowing to produce anything. Other nations that are wealthy borrow to produce things. We are borrowing to eat it. Never borrow to consume, guys. Never borrow to consume. Never borrow to consume. Never borrow to consume. Another network growth technique is that you need to begin to you need to start monetizing your abilities, your knowledge, your skill sets, right? And if there's nothing you feel you can monetize, then you can monetize. Because at the end of the day, people will not pay you with God bless you, amen, for your skills. They have to pay with money. They have to pay with money. You can monetizing your and honestly, there's a lot of things you can do. If you're a young person, you are I wrote an article on LinkedIn not too long ago, and I said that the three greatest capital that young people have, the three greatest capital they have is time, is energy, and their brain. Someone says my time is up. So I'm going to wrap up really soon. All right. So I can accept questions. All right. So time, energy, and your brain. What are you using your time to do? Right? What are you using your time now because of the certain level of skills you have? Acquire There are free online courses you can go. Even on Coursera and Udemy that you think that they are only paid courses there. You can apply for aid. There are certain courses that I have taken that I did not pay for. I applied for financial aid from being a science to being in finance. I studied geology. Geology was my first degree. But for the last 2 years, I've been around the finance industry. How am I competing with people who are accountants, who did accountancy as a first degree, who did economics, who did banking and finance, who did money related courses in the university? How am I competing against them? How am I doing this? I'm doing it because of the fact that I have acquired the skill sets that would allow me to be valuable, right? And I think that's important. That's very, very important. So invest in yourself. If there's any skills you want to learn, maybe affiliate markets. There are doctors that are affiliate marketers out there. I don't think a pharmacy student, I think that's her name, a pharmacy student who works for one of the very popular affiliate marketing companies, or who is an affiliate marketer for one of the biggest affiliate companies in Nigeria. As much as she's in the health line, she's making a lot of money, but who knows, she might graduate from studying pharmacy or nursing or whatever it is that she studied. I might not use the degree again because she has invested in the particular skill sets that she's making a lot of money from. But then you must not think, oh, it's because I'm doing something health related, I cannot get a new skill. That is a lie we've told ourselves. Self-limiting beliefs must die this year. I wrote a post on Twitter not too long ago, and I said this year, if you're going to step into a new level, you have to kill fear. Do it afraid, right? Step into it afraid. I think at this point, I would want to just draw the line. Thank you so much. I believe that we gained a lot from this session so far, and I'm really humbled to have done this for the last 1 hour with you all. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frank Samuel. It was a pleasure to have you. So, before we jump into the question and answer session, which will last for 10 minutes, I'd like to remind us all that tomorrow we'll be having two special topics, which are the personal vision and finance, and then building financial values as a youth, maximizing opportunities. I believe these topics are some things that would be practical for us as much as Mr. Frank Samuel has giving us these very crucial points on financial matters. So we're going to jump right into the question and answer session. So anybody that has a question for Mr. Frank Samuel can either type it in the in-call messages in the chat box or raise your hand and you'll be spoken to. I have just 10 minutes for this, please. Thank you. So it seems as if there's no questions. Everyone understood everything perfectly. Okay, there's a question from Chisom Chimizi in the chat box. She says, Mr. Frank, could you please explain budgeting again? How can I save and still buy things I want, not need? So I think she's available to answer your question.
All right, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Uh, All right. So okay. So to the question of I should explain budgeting afresh, right? So we'll talk about the idea of budgeting. It simply give you your money destination, right? It simply give you your money destination. I said at the start of this session that money is like a vehicle, right? Treat it like a vehicle. And once you treat money like a vehicle, you can't just enter any vehicle and just start the car, move the gear to anywhere, and step your foot on the accelerate pad or the throttle pad. One thing is definitely going to happen. There's only one result. You're going to die. You are going to die, whether it's you hit someone or someone hits you, or you crash into something or something crashes into you, you fall into a gutter, you fall into an ocean, you fall into it, or you fall off a bridge, whatever, something will definitely happen as far as you don't move the steering wheel. So money is basically you using money as a servant and as a car, turning it the way you want to go to. Gives you direction. You're giving it direction. Right? So that's what budgeting is. And when we talk about budgeting, there are a lot of models that a lot of financial advisors usually advise. A lot of models that they give or use this 50, 30, 20. 50, 30, 20 is like the most common model, right? That is everywhere. Even on social media, go, they tell you 50, 30 model. But I always say that personal finance is first personal. So a 50, 30 model might not work for you in particular. What might work for you might be like 5%. Okay, I can see 5% at the moment based on what I earn, based on the current economy, based on increase in goods and services. What I can put out is 5%, what I can put out is 10%, what I can put out is 12%. For a lot of persons, they can even put out up to 25%, 30%. Right? So I think it's really important that so it's basically giving your money direction. So you're saying, okay, out of whatever I earn, I'm deciding to put aside 10%, 20%. I'm saying, okay, I'm saving this money. I'm putting it somewhere that I will not touch. And this money is eventually going to be transmitted into an investment. That's very, very important, because when you save money, when you just save money alone, when you just save money, your money stays stagnant. And stagnant water smells. It's going to smell. It will not start making sense anymore. I'll give a case scenario. If you saved 100,000 naira and you kept it as 100,000 naira since 2015 till today, inflation at that time was somewhere around 9 point something percent. Right now, inflation is at about 21 point something percent. The interest you were earning then for saving your money is not the same thing now. There's a huge disparity. Your money might not even be able to purchase up to 30,000 naira worth of things that you could buy then. As 100,000 naira then, if you bring it now, it's still 100,000 naira cash, but in the real value, it might only be able to purchase like maybe 20,000 or 10,000 of things of that time. The money, and of course, when something smells, it becomes almost useless. It's stagnant, right? So the money has to be transmitted. See, money likes velocity. It's like river. It should be flowing. Move it. So when you're saving the money, save it up to the point that you can move it into an investment instrument, whether you're using it to buy shares, whether you're using it to buy investing it in equity, whether you're investing it in whatever, whether you're using it to buy Bitcoin or what, move the money. As I said, you move it into something, you move it into something, you can move it into your skill set, invest in your business, move it. Very important. Then to the second question, the person said, can I save and still afford what I want? I think that's a very, very important question I need to answer, right? Now, when you're budgeting, something like I said, your wants are not just flashy things of life. A lot of things wants are flashy things of life. Your wants are not just flashy things of life. What are your wants? Your wants are things that would enable you to live a better life. That's the word. Better life. Right? Better life. That's the word. It's not that you want to buy what's the word? You want to buy shoes or bags. A lot of persons make it look that way, right? But if I want to buy a book, if I consider that my personal development is important, that is a want, because it is not critical to my living. What is critical to my living is feeding, shelter, transportation, and maybe data, obviously, right? Feeding, clothing, accommodation, data, transportation. So these are things like that are essential, right? So your wants could be a book you want to get. It might be a vacation you want to go for. It's exposure, right? Don't give it from the mindset that you are just blowing down. When we talk about wants, it's just blowing money. So you can still save and still spend money on the things you want, right? You must remember that you can only invest the money you have saved. So if you don't save the money and you want to, so if there are greater wants you have, you must understand that you must be able to save more. Case in study. A lot of us make this mistake because you want certain things in the now. You cut from your needs, affect your savings, and say, okay, I want this thing now. If I don't get it now, I will not get it again. You're affecting your finance journey. A lot of young people make this mistake, right? They make this mistake. People, and a lot of people have, let me break this table. I must break this table. A lot of us, the wants we have, they are not wants to us. It's just peer pressure. It's just peer pressure. You have a working iPhone X. It's not bad, nothing, no issue. But the only thing on your mind is because your best friend is now using iPhone 14. You want to buy at least iPhone 13. And you say it's a want. It is not a want, it's peer pressure. It is not going to enhance, it's not going to make you live a better life. It's not going to make you live a better life. Right? So I think it's really, really important. I think it's really important that we understand the concept of needs and wants, that we don't make grievous mistakes. I hope I was able to answer that question, Chisom. Thank you very much. I think there's another question in the chat box. Someone is asking, I think that is Oyekachiko. So Oyekachiko is asking, how can I build that self-worth mentality so people don't get to pay me less for the value that I'm delivering? Also, any recommendations for some financial skills or courses that one can acquire for a better 2023? All right. So, how can you build the self-worth mentality? Number one thing that you can do is to read self-help books. I'll be very honest. There are a lot of persons that have been in worse scenarios that you have been, have moved into greater levels, and they have written their experiences in books. They help. Right? If there's a book I'm going to recommend, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I would recommend that. I recommend that book. Right? I recommend that book. Think and Grow Rich is another. Think and Grow Rich is another that you should also take a look at. Okay, so someone says, any recommendation for some financial skills or courses one can acquire for a better 2023? It depends on what exactly you want to do, right? So let's say you want to
no, guess I didn't.
So let's say you want to maybe start trading the financial markets. Let's say you want to start trading the financial markets. So it definitely means that you have to acquire a financial markets course. But if you want to understand basic investments, right, there are a lot of trainings that you can get on board. I run one with my brand, right? So it's like a 3-month course. It literally takes you from A to Z as far as personal finance is concerned. There are a couple of other financial education brands that offer things of that nature, right? So this would help, right? This would really help. All right, this would really help. So these are so I can recommend mine, right? If you want to get on board, you can reach out to Uzube, and he would direct you. He will direct you to me, and we can get. But definitely, there are a lot of. You can also check out You can also check out educational platforms like, of course, there's Coursera, there's Udemy. They have a couple of courses that can touch on financial literacy. All right, but like I said, a lot of times when it comes to personal finance, there needs to be a personal touch, and that's why when certain brands like mine do things like maybe like a financial mentorship program or something like that, we are doing it because there's a personal touch to it, and there's someone that can hold your hand and literally help out if there are any issues that you face along the way, because everybody has like their different circumstances, individual circumstances as far as money is concerned. All right, so Vera is asking, there are people who have the theories of making money but find it difficult to enforce it in the real world, mostly because of the environment they find themselves, lack of capital, and other financial constraints. How does one get to overcome these problems? Very interesting question. So I'm going to deal with the three scenarios that were placed there. All right, so first thing is environment. Your environment, of course, affects the level of growth that you would experience as far as your finances is concerned. If you've always lived in an environment that all they do is when they make all the money, they spend all the money, that's what you're going to do while growing up. If you live in an environment where they make money, they save some and keep it, you're going to do that. If you live in an environment where they make money, they save some, they invest some, you're going to practice that as you grow older, right? So I think it's really important that your environment matters. So for myself, one of the things that I did about 2 years ago was that I established what I call a wealth circle. I had to do that for myself because if I was going to just keep living life, I was going to keep interacting with a lot of people, and everybody has their individual perceptions into how money works, and it was definitely going to affect mine. So I needed to be very deliberate about it. Right. So even if you live, maybe due to parents, due to friends or whatever, where you live is an environment that would affect you not practicing the kind of things you want to practice as far as personal finance is concerned. Establish a wealth circle. We live in a social world. You can become part of a community where even my brand, we have to establish a community. As much as we do our programs and the likes, we have to establish a community so that we can keep having money conversations that will enhance the quality of lives of the people in our community, because we understand that they interact with every other normal person in the world today. They interact with spendthrifts, they interact with people who love to live in debt, they interact with urgent 2k people, they interact with every kind of person, they interact with people that I would regard as financial risks. All right, so we're intentional about having life. They have an environment where they can access quality information as often as they can get it. Right? I think it's really, really important. So the question on lack of capital, this is a very, very, a very huge burden. When as regards a lot of young people today, it's a huge burden. But there are ways that have been proven to deal with issues of lack of capital. While growing up, for some persons who did not grow up who were not born with silver spoons or golden spoons in their mouth, I have seen people build mega businesses because they assess their first set of capital on trust. What do you do with the relationships you have? Right? The Nigerian financial system, our credit system is not so great to favor small SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises. So you might not be able to access the kind of loan that someone in Europe, someone in America might be able to access. You can imagine, even as a normal student in America, you can accept up to student loan of up to $100,000. Who in Nigeria will give 74 million naira now? Who is going to give you 74 million with the hope that you will pay on trust? Even me, I have to ask myself if I will pay. My friend here was asking me if I would pay. Right? So I think it's really, really important that we are able to build quality relationships. So even if you're going to start a business, if you can partner with certain people, start partnerships. Collaboration is the new competition. Collaboration is the new competition. So if you have lack of capital, find who has the capital. Share ideas. Put down the document on how equity is going to be shared between both partners. Do it. Not too long ago, I had to work on a document of someone who he has the idea, he has the foresight, has the vision and everything of the business, but he does not have the capital. Someone has the capital, someone else was bringing in legal advice. They had to discuss on how you are going to share equity in the business. And of course, what he's going to assess capital. Right? So build quality relationships so that by the time you decide to now launch your idea, it's so if you go about saying that this is how I am, you carry any kind of funny habit and say this is how you are, and then you now come 2, 3, 4 years later and you're not complaining that you don't have capital to start your business. All the people that you were giving nonsense habit to are the people that would have funded that business you want to start off. But you're saying this is my zodiac sign. Please, let's not shake that table right now. All right. So when it comes to lack of capital, build quality relationships, because one of if you read Robert Kiyosaki's books, one of the things that he majors on is using things like other people's resources, OPR, using other people's money, OPM, using OPN, other people's network, using OPE, other people's experiences, using OPI, other people's information, using OPK, other people's knowledge. These are things you can leverage on if you don't have all you need to launch that idea of yours. Right? So someone says other financial countries. I think I've dealt with that. I think I've dealt with that. And then having great money habits is equally important. I've seen people who have started off businesses from their allowances while in school. They keep keeping a particular portion, and it's money habits, right? If you don't, there are a lot of persons that won't even give you money if you don't have a certain amount of capital on your own. Right? And then another thing, someone just mentioned that selling of services may not even require little. Yes, I'm going to. When I started selling land, I didn't have to start with capital. It was only my status and data, my WhatsApp status and my contacts and data. I didn't have to start. So there are things that that you can sell. Right? Take a look at your contacts. What are the kind of things that you think they love? Things they would love to buy. Put it, upload it, sell. One day, I just decided to be very random. I just decided to try something very, very random. I went to find a friend that was selling some golden bangles. I wanted to get one for my sister, right? But I didn't want to buy. I didn't want to pay with my money. So I told her to send me pictures of the bangles. I posted it on my status, posted the price. And I put like a caption and whatever. Within 2 hours, someone came and wanted to buy wholesale quantity, and I made commission from it. And I equally got the golden bangles for my sister, and equally got one for a friend of mine too. Oh, I didn't need capital. I didn't need to buy the golden bangles for my friend and then post on my status and say, I have this and I'm selling. No. If you're the kind of person that people on your contact list, they love books, they love self-motivational books, and start opening up a book, something. Start selling the book. Right? You can be doing home delivery. If you know there are certain skill sets, certain small skill sets that you have that you can start. That big idea, that big business that needs 10 million. You can break it down to the point that you can start off with 200,000. A friend of mine that runs one of the biggest transport companies that I'm even facilitating a training for, how did this with bite, small by small? And then now he's running a transport company with a fleet of over 70 vehicles. Right? He didn't have all the capital. Yes, he would have raised some by himself, but he didn't have all of it. He also built on trust. With a fleet of over 7, do you know how many partners? Has more than 10, 15 partners. So, guys, I think I've been able to answer a lot of these questions. And remember, there's a lot of self-limiting beliefs we have about that big idea, that stuff that's going to bring that big money. Please start. Please start. I think I've been able to answer all of the questions. Thank you so much. It was a great 90 minutes with you guys, and I believe that a lot of us have received a lot of value from this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Samuel. Really have ending of this meeting, and I just want to remind us that we have another session with 2 other young and vibrant speakers tomorrow by 5 p.m. same time as today. So come ready with your notes, come ready with your mind, free to gain knowledge. And there will be a post-conference certificate where we get what's learned so far. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you tomorrow.